welcome back to Love All Beauty. My name is Amanda, and if you're new here, well, welcome in. For today's video, I thought it would be fun if I just film me putting on makeup using products that are not new to me. So products that I've used before, I know how they perform. I feel like I'm always kind of testing out new products and forget about the ones that I've had in my drawer for some time. So it's good to get those used up. And before we jump into this video, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do that. You can hit the notification bell. That way you're notified every time that I upload a video, which will be every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Maybe some bonus videos every once in a while. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Without further ado, let's jump into it. I already prepped my skin, which is why my hair is freaking sticking to my face because it's so moisturized. I already wet my sponge. This is my sponge of choice. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer Sponge. I mean, I use it for everything, not just concealer. I am gonna start by putting a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter on my face. This just kind of gives a nice extra glow. Apparently we're gonna be glowy. So I'm just putting that on kind of all the high points of my face and going to use my sponge to blend that out. Charlotte Tilbury, kind of states that this can be used in many different ways. It can be used as like a liquid highlighter. It can be used as a primer. On my days where, I'm just really not wanting to wear a lot of makeup, I'll use the Flawless Filter, and then I'll also just add a little bit of concealer to the areas that I would normally conceal, and it just looks like a very nice, even coverage, light coverage with like a little bit of glow. It's really quite nice. For foundation, I'm going to be going in with the MakeUpForEver Reboot foundation. This is the lightest shade, R208, and I really don't use too much. Per usual, I like to apply mostly everything to the back of my hand. I just feel like for application purposes, that's just the easiest thing for me. I'll usually put a drop and then I kind of spread it out with my finger. And that way I kind of ensure that I'm not putting too much product on my face at one time. I can really control the amount that I'm putting on my sponge. So I just am gonna go and stamp that all over my face. So this is gonna really help to even out my skin tone. Like I said, it's a fairly light coverage foundation, but I am using a sponge, and when you do use a sponge, that tends to give you lighter coverage than if you were using like a denser brush, say something like this, and like stippling it on your face, as in just kind of patting it in. Okay, I'm happy with how that blended out. You can really see like a nice sheen to the skin. I will be putting on powder, so some of that's gonna go away, but that looks really nice. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put on some concealer. I haven't used this one in quite a while. I've been really just stuck on using my most favorite concealer, which is the Neutrogena Radiant Cream concealer. This is by Flower Beauty. It's their Light Illusion concealer. I'm actually gonna be applying this to the back of my hand first. Sometimes I do that with concealer. Mainly I do that with foundations, but I don't know. I feel like being wild and crazy. So we're just gonna go ahead and stamp that right into the corner here. For some reason this eye always wants to crease, so I'm just gonna use my finger there. And while we're at it, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some of this to my eyelid. kind of as like an eyelid primer. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but when I go out and I'm wearing my mask, I don't have like a cold. I don't have a runny nose. I don't have anything like that. And then the second I put on my mask, it's like the warmth from my breath or something like causes my sinuses to just flood. So then my nose is like constantly running until I take off my mask. And I just don't understand what the heck is going on. I wash my mask so frequently, so I don't know what's going on. I used to think that it was because I would always be chewing gum or like mint or something, so I thought maybe it was just like a mentholatum type effect where that was making my nose run. But then there'd be times where like I wouldn't be chewing any gum or anything like that, and it would still be doing it. So I have no idea why people, why? I'm gonna apply just a smidge. It seems like a lot. Everything looks pretty well blended out. My under eyes look like a little bit kind of creasy, dry, so I don't know if that's, again, this concealer or what. Who knows? But we're going to go in with a little bit of setting powder. I'm going to be using the Believe Beauty setting powder. So this is a brand that you can get at Dollar General. Like everything is under $5, which is insane. But I used this before, and it's a pretty good setting powder. I mean, I feel like nothing is really going to compare to my OG setting powder, which is the Laura Mercier, but I mean, it'll do. It will do. I'm just kind of tapping out any of those lines before I set. And then I'm going to go around and pretty much just set everywhere where I would normally crease. So smile lines. I always make sure, especially lately, to put an extra bit of powder down the center of my nose because that's where the mask tends to wear off my makeup, is just right there. And on my chin area. I mean, I think we all have that problem when we're wearing a mask and makeup. Just going to lightly set these areas here because I'm going to be using powder bronzer. And I always find with my face, I don't know if this is with everybody, but if I don't set down my cheeks and then apply a powder bronzer or something like that, the pigment kind of tends to skip or not spread as evenly. So I always make sure I set with a powder just to make sure that that's not going to happen. Oh my gosh, my stomach is growling. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. Okay, so we're going to go in with bronzer. So the one that I'm going to be using is the Maybelline City Bronzer. I've had this one for quite some time. I don't know. I tend to just honestly reach for the Physicians Formula because that's just my favorite. Just going to go in here and warm up these cheeks a little bit. Just make sure we really blend, 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 blend. Always with the blending. And then for blush, I'm going to go ahead and use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio. This is in the shade Pink Passion. Looks like that. Comes in a little compact like that. Going in with my, I don't know, whenever I'm using these trios, I tend to use up the middle shade the most, but I'm kind of not really careful and just kind of dunk into all of them. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of with this particular blush trio is that they are extremely pigmented. The thing I don't like about that is that I would much rather have a lighter formula, something that I can build up myself. And I know some people, you know, would argue the opposite way, but I just feel like I want something that's not as pigmented, and then if I want a more pigmented blush, I can just build it up myself without having to, you know, put this on my face and then tone it down with something else. For highlighter, I'm going to go in with my most favorite glow palette. This is the Dior Backstage Glow Face palette. This is in the shade 001 Universal. I tend to go between these top two here, so the lighter and then the gold, and just go back and forth. And hopefully you guys will be able to see. It's just a super beautiful highlight. It's not hunky chunky or anything like that, but you can build it up to be just a super bright highlight if that's what you're going for. So before we move on to the eyes, I'm actually going to set down my makeup using my OG setting spray, Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Spray. It's first use, I just love it. Gonna use my fan. Gotta love that. Let's get that spray like everywhere. Let's go ahead and move on, shall we, to eyes. I just wanted to do something a little bit simpler today. I don't want to go too crazy on anything. I was thinking kind of like a cool toned brownish eye. This is a nice palette because it kind of offers you a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna grab a fluffy blending brush. I've got this Jessup small tapered blender, and I'm actually gonna go in to this like whiter shade here, and I'm just gonna go all over my lid here because I had put down some concealer just as like a little bit of a prep. I didn't, you know, go too crazy with it or anything, but I feel like it's kind of nice to set it all down and make sure it's not super oily and your eyeshadow's just gonna be slipping everywhere. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is the M330. There's kind of like this taupish type shade right here. It's like a pretty light taupe. I'm just gonna go all over the lid with this. So now I'm going to deepen that a little bit more. In a brown shade right here. Just pack it on that blender. Tap it off a little bit. And again, just apply it all over. I always kind of start in the crease area and then go from there. MSQ like small tiny little blender here, and I'm going to dip into the darkest shade in this palette, which is a very like cool toned, kind of a gray brown, honestly. I'll show you what it looks like right here. And I'm going to be concentrating this shade in particular right at this outer edge. Braun, another YouTuber I watch, suggested using this L'Oreal Highliner Signature for your waterline because it doesn't budge, and I've really been enjoying it, honestly. That's not the easiest or the most fun thing to try and do, and I'm sure that was not in focus at all, so I'm really sorry. Hopefully you guys can see, so it's just kind of helping the lashes look a little bit thicker. I have this Marc Jacobs glitter liner in the shade Glitter Bug, and it's kind of just this pretty brown, like a deep kind of chocolate brown. They're super duper creamy, which is really nice, really emollient. I can take this smaller brush here and just kind of smoke it out a little bit. Just to help it seem a little more seamless with the shadows. Let's go ahead and do brows. I'm gonna go ahead and use the tried and true, what I've been using for years and years and years, and I think most of us have tried this, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. I mean, I feel like this is kind of the OG of eyebrow pencils. This lady really knows her stuff. So this shade that I'm using in particular is Soft Brown. And then the mascara I'm going to be using is an oldie but a goodie. It's a Lancome Hypnose Drama. Lancome is really good with their mascaras. They have ones that are like lengthening and, you know, volumizing and all that good stuff. So they're a good option if you're not wanting a drugstore mascara and you're wanting to spend a little bit of coin. Find a tiny little brush and go ahead and blend out a color on that bottom portion. So I'm going to go ahead and use this eye crease brush by e.l.f. Just this tiny little guy. Looks like that. And I'm going to start with just a lighter shade than what we were using, or maybe mix 2 shades here. Just to kind of create, I don't want anything like too contrasting down here. face of using nothing new. Oh, we didn't do lips. WTF, lady. Should probably do that. That'd be a good idea. I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips with the Charlotte Tilbury. I have been using this pretty much every day. It's my new go-to. It's just such a good liner. I just love the idea of your lips but better colors. I feel like I can wear it and I don't really have to worry about it getting all over the place, and it just really helps to enhance my lip shape and my color a little bit. We are gonna get wild and crazy and put on probably my most favorite nude lipstick, and I honestly don't know if they even make this shade anymore, but it's Valletta 406 by Pat McGrath. It's the Luxe Trance lipstick, and it's just this gorgeous pinky nude shade. I mean, you can see it's been well loved. And the thing I like doing with this lip is honestly just kind of stamping it on. Make sure I don't have any in my teeth. This for sure now is the final look because I have a lip on. Thanks you guys so much for joining me in today's video. I'm glad I can, you know, be here with you guys making these videos, and I really, really appreciate your guys' support, watching videos, liking. Please comment down below if you have any tried and true products that you love to use, or if you just want to say hello. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.